Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest on the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, so today I have AJ Cassata on the line, and he is a co-founder and CEO over at Revenue Boost. AJ, welcome to the show.
Hey, Adam. Thanks for having me. Excited to dive in today.
All right, we got a lot to talk about today. So we're going to talk about getting high-quality leads using cold outreach and AI. A lot of business owners, a lot of entrepreneurs that listen to this program, and who doesn't want more leads? Because more leads that convert can equal more money. So I'm in. First, just to get us kicked off, though, AJ, how'd you get into the lead business? Like, where did that start for you?
Yeah, so when I started my first online business about 8 years ago, and it was a paid ads marketing agency. So I found some courses online, probably like a lot of people started just Googling how to make money online.
Yeah,
and I thought that there was
years in on that journey. That's so good, AJ. We started about the same time. Go ahead, please. This is awesome.
Oh, amazing. That's amazing. That's cool. So yeah, we started at the same time and started an agency just doing local lead gen, like Facebook ads, Google ads for business owners. Figured that was a great way to get started. Yeah. And probably like a lot of people, I definitely failed at first and crashed and burned. Like I tried everything to actually get clients. I thought it'd be easy, like, okay, I'm offering this great service. People should want to line up to my doors, right? But then
Me too. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at me. Me too. I thought the same thing. Boy, was I wrong. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, totally. So every business owner faces that reality, right? You start a business and you're like, crap, actually most of the job is actually getting clients and driving growth, right? So I tried a little bit of everything, posting content, going to events, going to those like networking breakfasts. And I was just trying everything and just nothing was working. I remember at one point I had maybe less than $1,000 in my bank account. I was like just a few weeks away from having to go beg my old boss for my job back. But then I realized, like, what if I just got a list of perfect fit clients and just email them directly, right? Like, let me skip all this marketing and funnel stuff and just do outbound sales. Because previously before I started my business, I was working for a big construction company, and we did outbound sales. Like, I did like door-to-door sales, selling construction services and telemarketing, all of that, which, by the way, is way harder than anything we have to do online. Nowadays, it's so much easier.
These kids, they have no idea how easy they have it with their AI. I had to do it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
They'll never have to knock on a door in their life. I'd have knocked on doors when I was in my very early 20s.
Oh, cool.
And, yes, I've been out there in the trenches. So go ahead, please. I love the story.
So you know how rough that is, and getting rejected 1,000 times a day, right?
So hard. I'm dying just thinking about it. Go ahead.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I did that for like 5 or 6 years, and it kind of dawned on me that wait, if I was doing that in my job, I could probably do that digitally. I could take the same idea of just getting a list of people and calling them, but just do it through a cold email, and that was what worked. I ended up getting like my first couple of clients all within 2 weeks, and then just kind of took that and ran with it from there. And basically, long story short, I grew that business for a couple of years and used cold email, particularly cold email, then a little bit of LinkedIn outreach as the main mechanism to get us clients. And along the way, I was seeing a lot of other agency owner friends asking me, like, how are you guys getting clients? Like, how does this cold email thing work? And there was just a lot of interest in it. I started just helping other people, just peers of mine and people from other mastermind groups, basically for free. And then I realized, well, I could also just do this as a paid thing and charge people for it. And I just thought that there was so much demand for people to learn, like, how to get clients through outreach, right? People kind of wanted like another way other than just advertising or being like a social media influencer, right? So that led me to actually just starting Revenue Boost, which is where we just run cold outbound systems for particularly B2B companies and just getting really good at it.
Yeah. Wow. And how long have you been doing this? Like for Revenue Boost, I mean?
Yeah, well, I guess I've been probably sent my first cold email 7 years ago, but I started Revenue Boost about 4 years ago where we started doing it for other people.
Wow, that's amazing. And you said B2B, what kind of niches do you focus on? Or if there's niches, by the way.
Yeah, for sure. So most of our clients are either high-ticket B2B services, like typically like a marketing agency or a business consultant selling like project or retainer-based packages. And then we also do a lot of work now with B2B SaaS and startups and tech companies.
Can you talk a little bit about your process and like how you put together a campaign and why, really, for those that have never gone down this route, like why they should consider it?
Yeah, great question. So as far as why you should consider it, I mean, obviously, no matter what business you're in, more leads is always better, like you mentioned earlier, right? And I think if a lot of businesses are in a position where, especially a lot of small businesses or startups, where they rely on leads from unpredictable sources like network or whatever is going to come inbound or referrals. And if that's you, like you really need to have, every business needs to have a predictable channel of getting leads, something that they can just kind of turn on and off and control, because otherwise you'll get stuck scaling. You'll hit a ceiling, you won't be able to grow more. And it'll be hard to hire people because you won't be able to know that you'll have the increased revenue coming in, right? So one way or another, every business needs a predictable lead source, ideally more than one, so that you're not relying on one. But in my opinion, outbound is just the best first one to build. Like they all work. Like I'm not partial to it.
Sure.
We do content and ads and everything as well. So everything has its place, but to me, outbound is the best first channel to build as that predictable lead engine, just because it's so low cost. It's not very capital intensive, like if you're going to go run Facebook ads or LinkedIn ads or something, right? So it's low cost. It allows you just to kind of test your message, test your offer, test your idea really quickly. And it just works pretty quick. It's also not like social media or SEO where you need to do it for like 6-12 months before you see any sort of traction. You can get a list, fire an email, and get appointments right away.
Yeah. You mentioned something just now. Get a list. Like, how does that work? And like, why is that so important? Why should somebody, and I guess baked in that question just to be upfront, is like, it's important in my opinion to work with an agency like yours because you have experience and you want to be sending, emails to the right types of individuals and lists and make sure it's targeted. Am I off on that?
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, that's half the battle because you could have the best offer or product or service in the world, but if it's not in front of the right people, then no one's going to care, right? The copy doesn't matter. Nothing else matters if you don't actually have the right offer to the right lists. So it's definitely good if you have the budget to work with an agency like ours to do all this for you. But also if you're doing it yourself, it's definitely gotten a lot easier. There's a lot of great tutorials on YouTube for how to do all these things. And I post tons of free content about it as well. But, basically, like in a nutshell, there's different tools like Clay.com or Apollo or Instantly. And essentially what you do is you just go in there, you just plug in a couple of filters around your ideal clients. Let's say there's a certain industry you like working with, location, certain job titles that are the best for you to get a meeting with. Essentially, you kind of just reverse engineer your ideal client into a list of attributes, and then these databases will just populate a list for you, right? They'll give you whatever. Yeah. Let's say you're looking for plastic surgery clinics in California. You can get a list of the business owners to that. And really, it's just like a few $100. So it's not even like you have to pay tens of thousands of dollars to get this data. It's become a lot more accessible now, especially with AI and whatnot, that these tools are pretty cost effective to get you lists.
Let's talk about mistakes. Like, what are some of the common mistakes that people make when they're trying to go down this route?
Yeah, so I've definitely seen a lot because I think by now we've probably run or consulted on over 600, 700 different campaigns, and I for sure have seen a lot of the patterns. Yeah, it's definitely a lot. But yeah, I've definitely seen most of the same patterns. So for one thing, one of the biggest mistakes people make is in their outreach. If they're sending a message, and I'm sure you probably, especially with the audience you have, Adam, you probably received a lot of cold pitches on LinkedIn and whatnot, right? And
I love
a lot of them really stink.
Those are, keep pitching me. I make money on those. I love it. Those are leads for me. Continue, please. I love it.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, most of the pitches people send, it's too much like talking about themselves and their product, right? So the worst mistake you can make is talking about you and your product. You really want to be talking about the other person and their problems, right? And how you can specifically help them in their specific business and their specific role. Because if you just say, hey, my name's Adam and I help companies do this, and this is exactly why we're the best, and we've helped this many clients. It just, again, everyone's saying that, right? And you just sound like every typical salesperson, right? And the thing is, with cold outreach, you're a stranger to these people, right? So they don't have any reason to really care about you or your company, but everyone cares about themselves. So if you can start off your message with an observation about their company and how you specifically think you can help them, that's going to work 10 times better. So you really want to be focused on the prospect, not focused on, your product. That's one of the first mistakes I'd say.
Which makes sense too. When you think about just writing copy in general, I feel like that, but that's a skill. How does AI play into all this, by the way, in the mix of what you're doing?
Yeah, AI helps a lot. So I use AI a lot for writing. By now we've built our own internal AI tool that just helps us write cold email copy because it's trained specifically on a lot of good cold emails. But if I'm just using general ChatGPT, or if I'm just giving tips to someone that wants to open up ChatGPT and use it to help, I would say that I don't typically outsource all of my copy to AI. Typically, it's good for the ideation. It's good for the first draft. It's good for kind of getting you past the blank page, right? Which is what we all dread.
Yes.
But typically, you're going to want to edit it yourself and refine it so that it sounds human. Because if you just go into ChatGPT and say, hey, write me a cold email, it's going to give you the same kind of generic template that everyone else is using from, because it's scraping different blogs online, right?
Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, so you want to inject a little bit of your own personality into it, but it's definitely great to kind of get the ideas down and, format things and edit and polish up. It was kind of like the beginning and the end. The beginning is coming up with the idea, writing the first draft. The middle you should do to really refine it and make it yours and make it distinct. And then the end is you can give it back to AI just to kind of polish up and edit and clean up. So that's typically how we use it most of the time.
Mm. What kind of results? Like, we're talking a little bit about results. So, like you said, it's like one of the things that you recommend doing first. Like, is it being cost effective? Can you get into that a little bit? And I know it's going to vary by campaign, what people are looking to do, and obviously how many emails they're sending, and a lot of stuff like that. But like, can you give some ideas here, like so that people can compare?
Yeah, for sure. So it's a great question, and it definitely does vary depending on what you're doing. But typically, once you get it working, it's going to be, your most profitable channel or one of your most profitable channels, because all you really have is the tech costs. Other than that, like you get a list, you get email infrastructure, software, and then you can just scale it. Or you're paying an agency to do it, but even still, you're not also having to pay for, ad costs and all these other things on top of it, right? So in terms of profitability, that's, I think, a key thing. In terms of results you can expect, I mean, for us, we're typically trying to get every new client's campaign to getting 10 to 20 booked sales calls a month, because I think for most businesses, once you're getting, 3 to 5 good sales calls a week, that's a pretty good rhythm, right? Where you can really start to grow and start to stack new clients. But we've definitely seen some clients that have gotten 50, in some rare cases, even 100 calls a month. So if you're in a market that has a pretty large TAM, you can really scale it pretty infinitely. But it's not that hard in most industries just to start get it running and just start to get a couple of consistent sales calls per week.
Mm-hmm. And even like building that infrastructure out and all that, like I've known some different agencies that have done this kind of work, and it's not all that easy to send an email and to reach out cold at scale. Like it does take skill and setting things up properly and like the infrastructure. Can you talk a little bit about maybe just the infrastructure, because it can be tricky?
Yeah, for sure. It definitely has gotten harder. I mean, in some ways it's gotten easier because tools have made it better, but in a lot of ways it's gotten harder because email deliverability has just become a lot more challenging. And just with so many more people doing digital marketing, email marketing, and then all of the AI and all of the scams that come out of AI, like that's why a lot of these platforms are making it a lot harder for a message to get through, because they're filtering against links and all these different things. So one thing that's different about cold email in general is you don't just take one email domain and send thousands of messages from it, because you'll get blocked. You'll really burn your IP. What you want to do is get dozens or even hundreds of inboxes and just send 10 or 20 emails a day from each inbox. And the reason why that is because it's going to really look like human activity, right? So if Google sees that you just make a new email account, it's not going to let you send thousands of emails per day. It's going to think that you're doing some marketing or some spam, right? But if you get all these inboxes that are sending 10 or 20 a day, that kind of emulates what a human would do. So it's much more likely to actually perceive you as a legitimate sender and allow your emails to reach the recipient. That's probably the most important thing I can tell you. Other than that, there's a couple of just do's and don'ts, like you don't want to have links or images or videos in your message. The way that you would send an email newsletter that's graphically designed is not how you would do a cold email. You would really send it to be more like a short, snappy, just, plain white text written message, right? And there's definitely a lot to it. I could go on and on about it, but I would say to make it really easy for everyone, one of my favorite tools is instantly.ai, and they do a lot of that infrastructure for you. There's still things to learn. There's still things you have to manage on the tech side, but they do automate a good amount of that process for you.
Yeah, that's awesome. AJ, man, this has been a lot of fun getting to know you, learn more about your business and what you're up to. I think lots of good tips and tools that you provided here, and big fan of the work. I know there's a lot more you can go into, but we're about out of time for this episode. If people want to connect, follow up, and learn more, how do they do that?
Yeah, thanks, Adam. I really appreciate the show and all you do, and thanks for having me on as a guest to be able to share a little bit about the work we do. Hopefully it was valuable to your listeners. If anyone does want to connect further, they could definitely shoot me an email, aj@revenueboost.net. But the socials I'm active on is LinkedIn, which is just my name, AJ Cassata, and I also started a YouTube channel, AJ Cassata, as well. So those are the best ways to follow my work or get in touch.
Fantastic. And for everybody listening, just so you know, we'll definitely put some links in the show notes, so you can just click on the link and head right on over and connect with AJ. And speaking of the audience, if this is your first time with Mission Matters and you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe or follow button. This is a daily show, each and every day, bringing you new content, new ideas, and hopefully new inspiration to help you along the way in your journey as well. So again, hit that subscribe or follow button. And AJ, man, appreciate you coming on. Thanks again.
Appreciate you, Adam.